What's happening, everybody? It's Shy Panther of the Shy Panther and Friends Show. Welcome. Come on in, sit back and relax. And don't forget to like, share, follow, and comment. All righty, here we are. Welcome to the Shy Panther and Friends Show, everybody. I am your host, Shy Panther. And we are here to celebrate the cultural heritage of the blues. And thank you guys so much for joining us today. And if this is your first time watching the show, I encourage you to follow us, to share and all of that good stuff, like and comment. And just so you know, we are here Saturday mornings live. And if we're not live, then you can watch the shows on YouTube. You can check us out on Instagram. And plus, you can also tell your friends who don't have Facebook that they can listen in at q4.org. To my left, I have a wonderful guest here today, Donna Herula. And she is pretty outstanding. She is Chicago born, and she's a blues singer, songwriter, slide guitarist, and she's also a teacher.
Yeah.
Now, I saw something where it says you're a writer, but do you write, is that songwriting primarily, or do you write like fiction, nonfiction?
Well, when I play at Buddy Guy's, like I do a lot of the acoustic sets.
Okay.
Or I had been, and I was asked to do some of their newsletters. So I did a story about Bessie Smith, the Empress of the Blues, and then I wrote a story about Ma Rainey, who I really love too, who was a big influence on Bessie Smith, the mother of the blues. So they asked me to do like a series of different articles for their Buddy Guy newsletter. So I like doing that kind of writing. I've done some writing for, some local newspapers about different guitar players, since I really love playing guitar and listening to other guitar players. So a lot of it more is like entertainment.
Okay. Okay.
Done a few articles. I'm also a mental health counselor too.
Are you?
Yeah. So I've done some articles about employee assistance programs too. And what that means is like a program that can help employees if they have a job that has a benefit of counseling benefits. Sometimes they can get some free counseling sessions.
Wow.
And it's Mental Health Awareness Month too, so
okay.
I figure I'd throw that one in too.
Right. Wow, so you're a very busy lady.
I'm a busy lady, yeah.
Excuse me. Well, I see that you won many awards for Bang at the Door.
Yeah.
Now, how many of the songs are all of them? Did you write them all, or?
I wrote 10. One of them's a co-write, and I think 3 of them were covers. So I think majority, I think there's 14 on there. So I think that's right. The majority, like 3/4 of them are self-penned, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Bang at the Door, I think you wrote that.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And so you won Best Traditional Blues Artist and Best Acoustic Blues Album, and that was the 2022 Independent Blues Awards. You won Best AAA Alternative Song for Bang at the Door at the 2022 International Acoustic Music Awards. And that was for Who's Cooking in My Kitchen.
Oh, that was for Bang at the Door, but Who's Cooking in My Kitchen got it was like a finalist.
Okay.
So, yeah, I like that song too.
Oh, I do too. I do too. Actually, I listen to your music on Spotify.
Yeah.
And I just, I'm like, I'm doing too many things and I don't have time to just sit and listen, so I'm going to play it on my way to wherever. And I really love that. I really love the CD. And it took me, it's like I connected to different types of sounds in there.
Yeah.
You have a lot going on in there.
Yeah.
In your music. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it's a really variety of styles because I loved blues ever since I was a little kid.
Okay.
And my husband and I actually, our first date was at the Chicago Blues Festival. So I've been going as a teenager to the Chicago Blues Festival, and I really love the blues. And so the thing is, throughout my life, there's so many different styles of blues. Like when I first started, like all I knew was like B.B. King and Buddy Guy, and that's how I that's what the blues is. But then, I went to the Blues Fest and I saw these different like Cephas and Wiggins and all these different blues players and some even street performers, and they had like different kind of more of an acoustic type. And then I saw slide players there, and I didn't know what that was, and then I wanted to learn how to play slide guitar, and then it was like a journey. Then it's like you see all these like Elmore James and Robert Nighthawk and and I love the jazz.
Yeah.
Then there's a little bit of ragtime in the old blues, like Robert Johnson.
Oh my gosh. I love ragtime still. I mean,
yeah.
And people are like, what? Ragtime is almost forgotten.
Right.
But it's still here.
Right. And so there's just so many different styles of blues. And I think like growing up in Chicago, I mean, for most of my life, I didn't know there was anything but electric blues. And it took me to going to try to figure out how to play the slide guitar, and I went to the Old Town School of Folk Music there in Chicago.
Yeah.
And I was trying to find how to play electric slide, but they didn't have that at that point, at that semester or whatever. So I went into this like higher level like blues guitar class, because I had played guitar for a long time, and he was showing all this acoustic blues. And when I heard Son House, that's when I knew, I kind of like took a deep dive into this other path of blues people I didn't know were around.
Yeah.
Like Bucka White, Son House, Mississippi Fred McDowell, who I love. And so like it just got me off track of what I initially intended to do with more of the electric playing. And so I just took this detour for a long time into this whole underworld of blues that I didn't even know existed. So that's what I tried to do on my album.
Yeah.
I have like the first song, was Bang of Doors. Like that got some attention, but it was like the most rocky-ish. But that's like one song. There's like a ragtime song. There's a jazz song. There's a kind of a New Orleans called Pass the Biscuits. It was a New Orleans
I love that
kind
one.
of tribute to a gentleman that I really looked up to. So there's just a lot of styles, like country blues, Delta blues, I mean, just a lot.
Right.
So
and let's see, the other one, Promise Me. That is a beautiful song.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I don't want to hear about this. I don't want to hear about people in jail and this and that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, wait, she's telling a story, and that's the thing about blues. You get so much in a song, so much shared. So that brings me to where does your inspiration come for the blues songs that you write, especially since your style is traditional? It's beautiful though. I love it.
Yeah. It comes from real life, either something that I've experienced or somebody I know, or something like that. Although there were like a couple songs that I tried doing something serious and it came out kind of funny-ish. Which it didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. So I guess you just have to go with what you want to write about, and then sometimes it takes, again, a detour, or else sometimes you're writing the song about what you intended to.
Right.
But,
I really like, I love New Orleans style. Music and jazz, and I hadn't thought so much about blues, and I think sometimes we try to separate it. A non-musician will try to separate blues, jazz, but there's so much that happens when you do a blues song. It depends on your style, but there's so many influences that come out in the music. Yeah.
And there's so many like guitar players that like you said, they're jazz blues players.
Yeah.
So there's some people that play jazz blues and other people that are more, just rock blues, and then there's there's different styles like that. And I really when my husband and I go out and we go out to see music, we'll go to blues places, but we'll go to jazz places too, like the Green Mill or Andy's Jazz. And
I love those
places.
So
there's a lot of jazz people who I really are inspired by too.
Okay.
I took some jazz guitar when I was in high school.
That's what I was going to come to. High school, and well, how did you get started in the first, like from the very beginning, playing guitar? And then I heard you told the story how you came into playing the slide guitar.
Yeah. How I played guitar, like my mom I had 4 siblings and we all had to play the piano. I really like the piano. I just, for some reason, I played for 5 years when I was like 5 to 10 years old, but I wasn't really that good. I mean, just other people came more, I don't know, quickly to them. But I love the blues piano, like the boogie woogie. But so when I was 10, I've been wanting a guitar, but my dad died when I was 10. I think my mom had pity on me and she got me this little guitar, and I started playing the guitar. And my brother, kind of a guy, he was in bands. He spent a lot of time at the bar, and he had a friend who told me how to play the blues scale when I was 10. So I started playing, and I think it was, blues was, that was like the Blues Brother time. And I think there was a lot of attention when I was a little kid, on the blues, and then the blues festivals. I would hear stuff, about that. And so I ended up playing the guitar. I got into like actually a guitar mass, which I don't really broadcast, but I did play guitar mass as a little kid. There's all these adults and there's me playing the guitar. Yep. And then I also got into like an all-girls rock band because I went to an all-girls Catholic high school. So I was a freshman and there was a senior who was a guitar player, and we met in guitar mass at school. And she's like, why don't we start a band? And then we got the singer. And so I was in that, and then I was in my high school variety show where I wrote my first blues song called Midterm Blues about the woes of high school students having to take exams and, you know, get detentions for wearing too short of a skirt and all that kind of stuff. So so that's how I started. And then I started getting into, I played some classical, I played some jazz. I was in the jazz band because of a guy that I really liked. So I got a chance to play with him in the jazz band. Okay. And then I stopped for a while because I was pursuing my counseling degree, and I was like really hard, and I had to like really study and I guess I had this way of thinking that was all or nothing. Like, oh, you can't just do that for you can't continue something. It's either this or that. And people do it so many times. As a counselor, I see that too. Yes. Like if you mess up on your diet, then why? Just forget about it. Just throw the whole thing out the window.
Exactly.
But I understand now that you just have to do, you know what? If you don't have that much time, just put 5 minutes in. And that's okay. And you be good to yourself. And you're not going to be critical or mad at yourself. And I didn't know that back then, so I just stopped. And it took me seeing a slide guitar player out playing a Muddy Waters tune, and I just was blown away. And I'm like, oh, that's when I got back into it. So I played regular guitar. Okay. But then when I stopped for many years, and I was kind of like blown away by this guitar player playing live, and he was doing like a rocky version of my Muddy Waters tune, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to learn. How do I figure this out? There was no internet.
Okay, yeah.
So of course I can't just go on the internet and like figure it out.
So how did you do it?
Oh, that's when I asked my husband. See, he's a key part of all this here.
He's a key part of your story.
Yes, because he told me, why don't you go to the Old Town School of Folk Music? I mean, the place was a couple miles from my house. Did I ever even hear of it? No, I didn't know. I didn't know about this. I didn't think about like this great institution of like massive kinds of like many different instruments, many different styles. Hip hop, I mean, like everything. Right. I mean, dancing.
It's been there forever too.
Right, and I was like, oh, well, that's a good idea. Right. You know, yeah. But like actually where we were living, I ended up going in rush hour traffic, so it was like I had to go right after work. It was like an hour and a half in rush hour to get there. This was before the pandemic.
I believe it. North side traffic.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. So that's what I did, and I did it for a number of years, and just really just started like getting I would just get my hands on different blues compilation CDs, and it's going to date me to CDs. We listen to CDs, and it just exposed me to a lot of different styles of blues and different performers, and I just loved it. So yeah.
So so we talked about your high school and everything like that. So are you the only person in your family who's a performer, or?
Well, I have a sister.
Okay.
Who's crazy about the French horn.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so she played French horn in different orchestras since she was a kid, and she was like in this orchestra in Colorado for a period of time. But she's in this like quartet. She plays with like the Triton College band and just a lot of community band theaters and things like that. So she's like, and what she does is she's studying with the jazz guy. So she's actually doing French horn as a jazz French horn, which is unique.
That's got to be beautiful, though.
Yeah.
A beautiful sound. Yeah.
And it's interesting because, like, I guess both of us have kind of weird instruments because my instrument is a bit of this kind of like what Son House played was this steel resonator guitar, which I really love the sound of. So it's not everybody plays something like that. And like with my sister, not everybody plays French horn in the way she plays French horn. So I think we have that similarity.
So, people, you should see her guitar. To me, it's a work of art, and it is also, it's like a keepsake. I don't know.
Yeah.
It is beautiful, and it's heavy. You can see that it's heavy. Yeah. And Donna's promised to play a little something for us. And before we do that, I just want to say, who would you like to collaborate with? I mean, you've been around actually, you've done some really great shows around town.
Yeah.
And who was the last person you were with? I think.
So this
was
has
it
been
up at Rosa's?
John Primer.
Yeah.
So I am so happy about this because it's incredible playing like guitar next to him. So I don't know even how this even happened. It's just like I think one person told us, "Oh, you guys would sound great with John Primer." I'm like, "Oh, well, that's nice." And then I think it was like Jennifer Noble. I don't know if you know her, but she talked to like John's manager, wife, and Lisa, and then she heard us play and she thought it was great, and then she showed videos to John, and John loved it, and so we ended up playing a show with him in December, and just another, I think it was like a month ago, we were playing with him the 22nd of May, and we're playing like a Friday in June. I think it's like the 20.
Oh yeah, on your schedule.
The 26th or something like that at Rosa's again.
Okay.
Yeah, we're playing with him June 28th, which is a Friday night at Rosa's, and then we're playing May 22nd. And then we have a show at Fitzgerald's with him on August 1st, which is in the big room, and then we're playing at a folk club with him in December at the Lake County Folk Club.
Look at that.
So it's been it's insane.
All these dates
with him. Yeah, and I did not expect that, and it's just so great to play. We've been playing. We have some YouTube videos out there too. We did some like Muddy Waters tunes and just different. He's just so great, and he's such a great slide player. Talking about great slide players, unbelievable. Yeah, he's just somebody I totally look up to, and just really appreciate loving like the traditional blues the best.
Right.
Like my view is he's like the best slide guitar player out there.
Really?
And he's just amazing.
Now,
there's a lot of fancy guys doing all this kind of electric stuff, but I prefer more of the traditional blues style that he plays. So it's really incredible to get that opportunity to play with him.
Yeah, I was sitting and listening, and I thought, man, she must really. I mean, I could just see the excitement on your face. Now, and then for people who want to keep up with what you're doing, I noticed all of your social media is Donna Herula.
Yeah.
Just go to donnaherula.com, is it?
Yeah.
And then on Instagram.
Yeah. Same thing.
I found you on YouTube,
yeah.
Facebook. So, and then then you can purchase, and you can also stream all of her music wherever you get your streaming music downloads or whatever. You can just go. I found you on Spotify. I believe you're on Pandora.
Yeah.
Apple Music.
Yeah.
So people, you get the idea. She's out there, and so. You mind playing a little something for us?
Sure. Like, how do you want me to do a song, or do you want me to do two songs, or what do you have time for?
Oh, I got time.
Okay.
We have time. Plenty of time.
Okay.
At least 45 minutes.
All right.
Not to have you do a full concert.
Yeah. No, I'm going to do a couple of songs.
Okay.
I'll do one on this one and one on the other one.
Okay.
How about you might have to help me out with this. Do you think you can? It's call and response.
Okay.
I say this. I don't want to clip or anything, so I move back.
I'll let you know. No, you're good.
This is one that I wrote. Can you help me out, sister? I'm in a bind. I had a real good time drinking whiskey and wine. We started at 8, we danced till 1. Me and my baby having so much fun, but I got no way home. No way home. I got no way home.
No way home.
I got no way home, and my baby left me here alone. Was it something I did? Was it something I said that made my baby lose his head? I wanted to stay, he wanted to go, so my baby took off down the road. I got no way home.
No way home.
I got no way home.
I got no way home.
I got no way home, and my baby left me here alone. jam. But I love my baby, yes I do. Without that man, you know I'll be blue. Can you help me out, sister? I'm in a bind, I drank too much whiskey and too much wine. So pull up a chair, let's sing a song, another round of drinks. Stay here all night long, I got no way home.
No way home.
No way home.
No way home.
I got no way home, and my baby left me here alone. One more time. I got no way home.
No way home.
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 I got no way home, and my baby left me here alone.
That was great.
I wrote that before Uber and Lyft. Now we always have a way home, I guess.
Yeah. So what are some of your favorite places to play so far?
Oh my gosh. Oh, in Chicago, I've always appreciated Buddy Guy's Legends because I've played there for 12 years as an acoustic for the dinner set. So they have so for those people who don't know, before the electric set at 8:00, they actually have like 5:30. Like on the weekends, they'll have like 5:30 to 8. They'll have like 2 hours of like more of like a duo or trio or a solo person playing. So I've really appreciated that Buddy Guys has really, how would you say, supported the acoustic blues, which sometimes, you know,
I think
people,
it's great.
Yeah, and it's just really fun. And I really, really enjoy that. And plus you can just come out and it's free and then you can have your dinner and then if you don't want to stay out late, you don't have to. You can just go home and you saw a couple hours of music. So I really like Buddy Guys Legends, and Roses has been really super nice. Jennifer and Tony out there have been super great to us and great to work with. So I'm happy that we're playing at Roses this year too, which is something relatively new for me. Buddy Guys have been there for me for many years. Mark Maddox.
I love that. I love Buddy Guy's place.
Yeah,
Buddy Guy's
great food.
Legends. Great food.
Yeah, I love the food.
Yeah, and actually that's what started me to coming out to the later shows.
Yeah,
coming to the 5:30 show.
Yeah,
because I didn't want to be out as late.
Yeah,
but now I make myself go so that I could be there for when the headliner come in, because I'm sleepy. I'm ready to go. But once the music starts, then I swear I'm gonna go home after one set, and I don't.
And you stay.
End up, yes.
Yeah. We're gonna be at Legends. There's a Blues Hall of Fame coming up.
Oh yeah.
And Tomiko is kind of coordinating that, and I know that's gonna be coming up. I think June 5th. That's a Wednesday.
Okay.
And so my band's gonna play a couple of songs there too. So I'm happy that they invited us to do that.
Yes, that's gonna be nice. I do plan to be there.
Oh.
Yeah, I sure do. I wouldn't miss it. And I have a brother who's a blues guitarist, and he's going to be here also.
Nice.
He's been inducted.
Wow.
Yeah, he is. And you also have.
Yeah, I was inducted. There's different levels of.
Okay.
I was like I think a great blues player. I think they have different levels, like master or something like that. But you know, I'll work up to that one. But yeah.
But you're in there.
But I'm in.
Yes.
Yeah. It was a surprise.
Now, touring. Have you toured much, or?
You know, we got the opportunity. A little bit we got flown out to Switzerland to play in the Lucerne Blues Festival, which was another surprise. They said the person who was booking said that they listened to the CD and they thought it was, quote, beautiful. So I was like, okay, that was great. So they flew with my whole band, including my husband, to do, which he does sing. He's a good singer, so he did some backup sing. He's actually on the album doing Jackson as a solo, and it was a duet. And there was Can't Wait to See My Baby, kind of going back and forth, the man's perspective of getting together and the woman's perspective of getting together.
Yes.
The woman thinking that she's going to go out in the town and have some pink champagne, and the guy saying, we're going to have some fun now when you come into town. So that's him. That's his voice. So I wrote it for a duet for the two of us. So
really?
Yeah. So I don't even, where was I even talking about?
Touring.
Oh yeah. So we've just kind of we went there. You know, I've been to South Africa because of the blues at their festival.
Okay.
But with my band, we've been down to the Clarksdale, Mississippi, the Juke Joint Fest. We've played in Fayetteville and Helena, Arkansas. We've kind of more locally. We've been to like Michigan and Duluth, you know, Bayfront Blues Festival. I'm going to be going down to Minnesota to play with this washboard player, Mickle B. Yeah. I played with him last year, and it was like packed. I couldn't believe like it was a packed room, and they do a good job with their Resonator guitar series up there in Minneapolis, which is totally fun. That they have a whole series for people that play the guitar that I really enjoy playing. So so you know, it's more locally, you know, St. Louis and you know.
And you said washboard. Some folks won't even know what that is.
Oh my gosh. My mom used to actually wash with a washboard.
Yeah, we did
many
too.
years ago. Yeah.
I know I'm dating
I have
myself.
one. I have her washboard. I was thinking I was going to play it.
Yeah. Oh.
I actually got thimbles or, you know.
Oh, yeah, I know
but
what you mean.
I tried it, and it was kind of fun. But I just never really pulled it out, you know. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Peaches Stanton plays that, like that kind of a washboardy kind of thing, too.
Yeah.
We're doing a Women of the Blues show with Peaches and Ann Harris and Lynn Jordan in October over in Schaumburg.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're doing something.
The Prairie Arts Center, yeah.
Something.
Oh, there's another Delmark thing, I think the same day as the,
Yeah, I think there's something happening in June as well.
Yeah.
So, and the only way you can keep up with all of these events is to follow their pages, the different blues pages, and then you kind of keep on top of it.
The other two things that you can do, the Chicago Blues News and the Chicago Blues Guide. So you got Linda Kane doing the Chicago Blues Guide, and then you have Karen Murphy doing Chicago Blues News. So that they always like say like who's coming up and what's a hot show and this and that. So that might be two other places that you check out.
Yeah, I will, because sometimes I miss particular things, and I do know if you're not following them or signing up for their newsletter or whatever, you're definitely going to miss it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why they have like Chicago Resources, like those two magazines that I always I get those, so I can see like if I'm playing so much even in the area, you know. So sometimes it's really hard for me to get to see anybody else's show.
Oh, absolutely. I notice how busy you are.
Yeah,
and that's always a good thing to be a working musician. So I usually encourage people from this show to the audience anyway to please go out and support. You know, go out and support live music because we want to keep it, especially we've got to keep the blues rolling. We got to keep it alive.
That's right.
Definitely.
That's the goal.
Yeah. So I want to ask this song. I know that I've heard it asked in many ways to B.B. King and some of the other blues singers, but why do you play the blues and why do you sing the blues?
I think because I mean, the first time that I really connected to it was when I said, well, like Son House. And I think it was because my father, like I said, my father had died when I was 10 years old, and it was really hard for me. And, you know, and when I was a kid, my mom didn't send me to therapy. Like we didn't really talk about it after he had passed away. And it was this kind of like, I'm dealing with this on my own. But then when I heard Son House talk about Death Letter Blues and all what he was going through and how he missed her and he was hugging his pillow, and it made me feel connected, and it made me feel like this was true, and it just made me feel like empathy, like because I've been through it too. So I think that's why it hit me so hard when I started getting more into the acoustic stuff, like that style, because of how he sang it. So I've always like wanted to sing and play like Son House, and I know that's not possible, but he's a legend, but as much as I can, I try to get the heart of the blues. Sometimes I think that is my criticism of some of the blues. It's just a lot of like words that, like, there's certain types of blues where it's great and they get into the heart of it, and there's others it's just like the words, I'm like, what is that song about? Like, but just I think I play and sing it because it's real, and I can connect with it, and it's heart. I try to do a good job with being heartfelt in the music that I play.
Yeah, and I just find it amazing that you connected with him, his music and his style at 10 years old. So kind of
Oh,
like,
well, I was when it was more when I came back. So what happened was when I was 10, it's when my dad died, but I got into the blues like B.B. King, but then when I went to college I stopped. And then I came back to it because I wanted to play slide. And that's when I heard Sun House.
okay.
So it was
Okay.
kind of like later in my life, kind of reflecting back.
I
And
see.
I think it just hit me because I guess my experience as a child made me feel like I feel like I have empathy for this. I just the way he sang, the way he banged his kind of resonator guitar, and then that was the beginning. It was like the explosion, and then it's like
And everything, all
Yeah.
the dots connected for you.
yeah. And so I had a real like curiosity, and I just think my family had experienced some trauma with like accidental death, like drowning, and my sister's fiance got killed and all. So there was in the same time my dad died, there was a lot of trauma, and
Okay.
I think just understanding the music, there's a lot of pain in it, and people really go through a lot of pain in their life, but I think music can be very healing.
Right.
So I
Yes.
think that's what I mean. Being a mental health counselor too, that's I'm this kind of type of person that wants people to feel better. I want people to heal. I want people to grow, and I think that's what the music means to me. Is that it's an opportunity to connect with each other, which is important to healing.
Right.
So
And I think that's what I got from your music, because I heard so many different, like I said, so many different styles
Yeah.
that I didn't expect to hear. Especially like with slide, I'm like, oh, she's a slide guitarist, so I'm going to hear a lot of that kind of, But then I felt like I heard country or
Yeah.
bluegrass kind of.
Yeah,
I didn't know what
yeah.
to really, say. And then when I read some of the reviews about your music, then they talk about roots music and they talk about hill country. And because I never really understood. I was talking with my brother about all of these different styles. Then and I said, oh, is that what I'm hearing? And not knowing what it is. So
Yeah, it's interesting because I think when 1920s and 30s, there wasn't so many radio stations like there is now, where everybody can go to Spotify and tailor your music listening to exactly what you're interested in. You had to hear songs that you weren't quite familiar with. So there were a lot of the blues players were also listening to country. So like you have like these country players like Howlin' Wolf was actually trying to imitate Jimmy Rogers. Is that right? It was Jimmy Rogers, a country guy. Howlin' Wolf was doing his howl to try to be like a country guy, and he sounded out being like Howlin' Wolf, right? But people don't recognize the connection with country blues or country music into the blues music. So like I know like sometimes I'll be playing with this instrument, and they're like, "Oh, well, you're playing country." I'm like, "I'm not playing country. This is blues. Like, get educated, man." But they don't get it. But so it's like, you don't understand. I really love the blues. I'm not bringing this country. And this is like, I'm showing you where this came from.
exactly.
I'm feeling it.
That's exactly right. Because when I was hearing it, I'm thinking, wait, this sounds country. And then I thought, no, it's not. This is Delta. This
Yeah.
is the real deal right here. And so I'm like, I got it, because for a while, and just as you said, it's just a different styles. I don't know how to describe it. When you hear more of, say, B.B. King, or you hear Junior Wells, and then you go back and if you really listen to Howlin' Wolf and you listen to, as you said, Sun House, that's when I think that's where I really hear a lot of the style that you have. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Delta blues.
Yeah,
So
Delta
I was
blues.
like, when I went down to the South the first time, it was like coming home. Like, but I think just because I'm a city girl. I was born and raised in Chicago. I talk fast. I went down there. Everybody's like so kind, and they talk slower, and it relaxes me. I need it. I need
it's
it.
a slower pace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
it's beautiful though. I get what you mean. A lot of like hospitality,
Yes.
nice, warm,
Yep.
and welcoming. I guess
Yes.
that's what I'm saying.
Yes, you don't. Even if I make a little preference, they'll go get something for me because I just said something. I'm like, oh my gosh, you know. So it was really great going down to the South. And I just want to mention, like, B.B. King's older cousin was Booker White, and he was very raw. Like, one of the songs that I have on my album is "Fixin' to Die" by Booker White or Bucka White, and so B.B. King was kind of he knew about it. Obviously, his cousin playing this very raw style, but B.B. King was obviously, everybody knows he's very smooth. His voice, his guitar playing,
beautiful.
But obviously he'd had to have some roots from the Mississippi blues, obviously, So I mean, and that's where I hear it, and I don't know. I just really love, like, I think I really just love Delta blues, like Robert Johnson.
You do.
Yeah,
because I mean, it's in everything. It's all every song.
It doesn't even get played that often. Like, we went down to Mississippi, thinking that there's all these people playing like Robert Johnson. No, they're not playing it. They're playing a form of hill country down there.
Okay.
I think like Arl Burnside and that kind of style kind of is the one that's more predominant down there, but not the Delta blues. It's the hill country. So it's interesting because I don't know as many people that actually play that style that I play, which is more of a Delta style. It's kind of like not being played very much.
I was going to say, because I'm telling you, I was truly surprised to hear. And I was confused. I'm like, is this country? Is she more of a country? And I'm like, no, she's got it.
Yeah.
She's doing the right thing. And I think that is a concern when people, like, we have so many people, when I was doing research about, just listening to different types of music, there's so many different people all over the world who call themselves blues musicians. And, that traditional sound isn't always found. It's if it's there, it's very little. So I don't know what you would call what they're playing.
And I think it does, when you're playing, see, I played solo for many years.
Okay.
My husband and I played as a duet for many years, and now I play with a trio and a band. And it's like about choices too, because like I have this man named Mark Edelstein, who's an upright bass player, and I like the slap bass, like upright bass, I guess double bass. I love Willie Dixon, and the sound that he has on that bass. And so, I make choices about having an upright bass player in our trio or in our band. So I know it's trying to tip the hat more to the tradition. I know it'd be a lot easier for him and everybody if we didn't have to drag a bass in our van or onto our gigs. But it's worth it, at least from the musical sense. I think it really is worth it to make those kind of choices when you're picking band members or people to record with. Yeah,
it definitely makes sense, and it will just makes your sound rich, I think, and more authentic, true to the blues tradition. So if there was anything you could change about the blues, the way it's happening today, what would it be?
Oh boy, change about the blues. That's a hard question.
Or the industry, I should say.
I guess I would still say, like, support the acoustic blues, like what they do at Buddy Guy's. I think sometimes they don't even have an acoustic band. I mean, I think they think of acoustic being one person playing, or like a harmonica and a guitar player. I mean, but I have a band that has acoustic elements to it. So people have always said when we played, oh my God, like you should be the headliners. I mean, I've had people come up to me after and say, like, you're playing the blues, like what, So I would just say my criticism, I guess, would be to make sure you have blues at the Blues Fest. Sometimes the headliners are not.
I like that.
Yeah, I would say, like, many times at the blues festivals, the headliners are not blues players. They are not. They're like, I've said, oh, well, we're blues inspired, but we don't really play blues. I'm like, why are you having them at a blues festival? But I understand why, because the promoters want people to come. And sometimes people are not as familiar with the blues. So, I mean, I get it and I accept it. I just won't stay for the headliner. Unless it's John Primer or Nick Moss is great. I mean, there's a lot of these, people that I really think are awesome. But like I think it was a Willowbrook Fest last year. I had John Primer, like all the greats. It was like one of the best concerts I've ever seen. It was unbelievable. And it was earlier in the night, I think. They didn't put them on last, but that's all I needed to see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, have you seen any younger people coming in who who are
You know,
kind of-
I actually really like, I'm surprised by, that Allie Venable.
do I know?
She's
I
a
don't know.
young girl, and she actually can play really well, and she has a really nice voice, too. She played a song with Buddy Guy on her album. But I liked her album. I like that Galia Voigt as well. I think her last album was great. I loved it. And then, of course, the local people like Jemiah, Rogers, and like what he used to be called, like On Fire or something, whatever. He is amazing, and of course, like Ivy Ford and Melody Angel. They're all like Chicago people, and they're keeping the blues alive here in Chicago and trying to get it out there. So I really respect what they're doing as well. Yeah.
And super talented.
Yeah,
Very.
they all are. So I just hope that they get a continue to get a following and spread the word and spread the blues.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what's been some of the best advice you've been given?
All these hard questions.
Oh no,
I don't know. Like
I thought these were easy.
getting advice. Somebody said just keep playing.
Right.
You just don't stop. Don't like, because I did stop, and I'm like, well, I don't know why I did that, but just keep. I guess I would say just keep growing.
Yeah, I saw. I think a gap, a little bit of a gap, and I thought, I wonder, because life, we move through our lives, so sometimes we have to take a break and then come back.
Yeah, I have a lot going on because I do teach at the Old Town School of Folk Music. I teach like a blues fingerstyle blues slide. I might be teaching an electric slide one in this fall. I'm kind of trying to see if they would. I used to do like a few classes before the pandemic, and then and during the pandemic, and then I'm trying to work. I'm working as a counselor full time as well. So there's a lot. There's a lot happening. So I only teach one class, and I'm taking a break during the summer and going back in the fall. So,
and then you manage to do the shows and those late shows. How do you do that?
I wasn't.
Oh.
I was doing all early shows. I play a lot of libraries. Like, it's really fun. And like during the day, people listen to the words. Because I really take care of putting a lot of time and attention, not only into the music, but into the words of the songs. So people will listen if you're at a library or we do concert series. We're doing some concert series. In the Chicagoland area, we have a number of concert series, even like folk series, which I really enjoy. But yeah, trying to go to work at 8:00 the next morning after doing a show until like midnight is a little difficult. So I try not to do that, but you can't pass up opportunities like I've been given. So I've been like, I'm gonna suck it up. It's not a big deal. I'll take off the next morning or something like that. But it's like you're trying to be a working person and like trying to get out there and play, and then when you have the late nights,
it can be.
That's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to do it.
Especially when it happens in the middle of the week.
Yeah.
You're
like,
I'm
boy,
not going to be worth the quarter.
Yeah.
Next
You can't do that if you're a counselor though. So I got to be ready. I got to be present. So.
So would you like to do another song for us? Because I would love it.
I think I'm going to play the one that I think you.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Now you switch to.
This is a regular acoustic guitar.
Okay.
Oop. Maybe I'll just take this off here.
Okay.
All right. Who's been cooking in my kitchen?
Okay. This is pretty.
Who's been cooking in my kitchen, frying with my pan, using up the oil, trying to satisfy my man. Who's been cooking in my kitchen, spilling sugar on the floor, leaving biscuit crumbs and honey, and my baby wanting more. Who's been cooking in my kitchen? Who's been sneaking in my door? Who's been cooking in my kitchen, boiling ham bone in my pot, baking sweet potatoes and making things so hot? Who's been cooking in my kitchen, shopping at my store, squeezing juice the lemons and butter in the corn? Who's been cooking in my kitchen? Who's been sneaking out my door? Well, I'm going in my kitchen, I'm gonna make a jelly roll, add more cinnamon and spices to my mixing bowl. And when I'm not in my kitchen, he can cook for himself. He won't need no assistance from anybody else, 'cause I'll be cooking in my kitchen. No more sneaking around my kitchen. I'll be steaming up my kitchen. He'll be begging me for more.
Thank you. That was wonderful. And she sounds so good live, everybody. Your voice is so clear, so just beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one I wrote. This, who's been cooking in my kitchen? My husband said once I wrote that, he's like, you really want to release that? There's no going back after you release that one. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to have to do it.
Well, a lot of women will truly connect with that song, 'cause that's one thing we do not like. Someone else, another woman in our kitchen.
That's right.
Not even having it.
Nope.
Okay. Well, I thank you so much for coming in today, and this has been great. I've learned so much, and because of you, I'm in a rabbit hole with. Your husband's laughing. I'm down in that rabbit hole, just researching. Women in blues. It's just, and I started listening to, went way back to Ma Rainey and a lot of these folks, because that's where you get the real deal. I'm telling you. And it's and when we first started, we had a conversation about coming on to the show. I was saying that I kind of forgot all of these people from our pioneers, really. And you were saying that the women were the band leaders. They were the ones that's how it started out. And then we did this shift.
That's right. Yeah, because in the 1920s, it was Ma Rainey, Bessie Smith, all of them. And they were the ones that were the ones traveling around. They were the ones that had enough money to purchase train cars, like many train cars, to bring their band. Ma Rainey actually would purchase new instruments for her band members. She had that kind of money. She bought a house, Yes.
Yeah, that blows my mind.
So, when they're out there making all this money at these tent shows, the guys were sitting by themselves in the Delta playing for nothing, playing for tips. So, okay, what happened now? And now, a lot of the blues shows too, are a lot of men.
Yeah.
But they have been now including the women, like people like, you know, Julia Miller and, you know, a lot of the, you know, Linda Kane's putting together a show that I'm going to be a band leader for the traditional set. And then Cheryl Youngblood's going to be doing the contemporary set.
Nice.
So that's the 19th of October in Schaumburg at the Prairie Arts Center.
Okay.
So like I want to let people
that.
know about that. Yeah. So we're going to have like Anne Harris and Peaches Staton and Lynn Jordan, and we're going to have our band doing a lot of, you know, traditional kind of tip to the hat to the women blues singers, and then Cheryl Youngblood's doing the second set. So yeah, so we're trying to keep the blues alive and trying to have people remember that women are an important part of the blues.
Absolutely important. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm going back and doing all of this.
All the research. That's great.
So hopefully I'll come up with something too in the future where, you know, I can ask you all to come together and do something.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that would be great.
Yeah.
Look forward to that. Well, thank you so much for having me on the show.
It's my pleasure. I love doing this. And for all of you out there, thank you for tuning in to the Shy Panther and Friends show. Please support the blues. Please support Donna Herula. She's a great musician, great person. And you can find, as I said earlier, her music is on everywhere. Everywhere that you buy and listen to your music, and catch her around town. Follow her on her social media. You'll be able to keep up with everything there. And until next time, take care of yourselves and God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.